is one of those visiting artists with the Dripped on the Road project here in Indiana, PA. Says he's from Brooklyn. We've heard of that place before. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you with us. Conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. So, Jonathan, you come here to Indiana. It's an amazing program that Hannah Harley has set up over the last few years, and a lot of our artists have come out of Brooklyn. It just must be a pretty kicking place in the arts community, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty hip place. I'm lucky enough that I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, born and raised there. So I kind of absorbed the culture around me as a kid, and it's always been full of art, full of music. Even before people wanted to cross the bridge from Manhattan into Brooklyn, there was a lot of cool stuff going on, and we were quite all right with that.
Yeah, well, this particular program here, Spruce Arts, of course, is Hannah's organization, bringing muralists here to Indiana, Dripped on the Road. So you've been here for how long, Jonathan?
Oh, we've only been here for a couple days so far, but we arrived, some of us arrived on Sunday evening, some of us arrived Monday morning, and we immediately got underway, and our artists have all begun their murals in at least 4 locations. I myself hasn't started mine yet. Spent the day scraping off extra paint and then repriming the walls for our artists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the directors of the program, so my mural's the least important of the bunch, I would say, as it's really about our artists and their goals, needs, wants. So I'm here to help them, and then my mural's more of a second thought for me.
All right, so where are you going to be working?
I'm going to be working right by where everybody else is painting. So there's about 5 of us. I don't know the block names yet. Pardon me for that.
They're in the 500 block of Philadelphia Street.
Yes. So I'll be right there. I'll be right around the corner from that.
Cool. And when you go into the planning of I'm just using you as a test case here. You're planning this mural. What size are we talking about for what you're working on, and how do you plan for something like that? How do you sketch that out?
So for us, I like to think of like a 10-foot by 10-foot square as like almost a 1-inch by 1-inch square, or whatever you're most used to working on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like drawing on a piece of paper. So you have your borders and your limits, even if on a wall there's still more room to work on either side. So, if you have an 8 by 11 piece of paper that you draw on, you get so used to working on a larger size that you can almost superimpose it in your head right onto the wall. So for me, I don't really I'll make a sketch beforehand, but I don't do like a digital mock-up where I take a photo of the wall. Some of us do that now that technology is so great. But usually after a couple of years painting, you just have an understanding for the larger dimensions, and you don't have to grid it out. You don't have to really think about it. It all clicks and you know where everything should go. And so painting on a bigger scale is actually easier for a lot of us than trying to paint a small canvas.
And how many of your fellow artists and residents do you actually know, are you acquainted with?
I was acquainted with, well, obviously the 2 directors, my 2 business partners, Denton and Ramiro. But then out of the resident artists, I only personally knew one of them. I had met one of the other ones. I had met Risa only, I think, one time, very briefly at an art show. And then the other 2, Sarah and Evan, I had never met before, but I follow their artwork on all the different modes of social media.
Yeah, it's interesting to me when we have artists meeting and talking with other artists and getting to work with them as well. I recall last year's program for the artists in residence, and everybody was just blown away by the talent around them and what these people were able to do and how they went about the creative process. Is it that way with you?
Oh, it's like that for me every day. I'm mainly an organizer of murals and art shows, parties, so I work with a wide array of muralists and graffiti artists and street artists, and I'm blown away every time at the different approach artists have and just kind of watching their mind work, and it influences my own work continually. I've learned more from watching artists paint than from doing it myself.
Yeah. I bet you. I bet you. So when you look at this, and we should emphasize that people can actually watch you folks at work too, physically distanced, of course, but they can watch you at work and see this creative process just unfolding before their very eyes.
We want you to come talk to us and come watch us. I mean, it's public art, and it's all really about the people in the areas we're painting. And sometimes we paint a mural and we never see it again. So it's really everything we do as public artists is for the communities we're in. So it's really nice to meet the people in the community. I mean, it's hard now with COVID, but it's really great to have a conversation, get a feel for the people around us. And I mean, even if you're confused or you have questions, we try to have somebody on site to talk to you and, you know, kind of let you know how it works or what the concept is. And even we've had people come over and be like, spray cans aren't real art. And then, you know, we discuss it, and, you know, anything's art in the end. But it's always nice to have conversations with local people, no matter where we are painting, if it's in New York, if it's Pennsylvania, Florida. We've been all over. And that's the best part for me is really getting to know the communities we're in.
Talking with Jonathan Neville this morning. The Dripped on the Road mural project continues here in Indiana. This is the Fall 2020 program. Interesting, the focus on creative sustainability and partnering with the local conservancies and agencies. This is more than just a bunch of people painting on a wall, isn't it?
It is. We've realized over the years that we create an amazing amount of waste, and our spray paint isn't so environmentally friendly. Most of our programming is out of an RV, and we're driving thousands of miles each month, and we realized that we are creating a lot of pollution. So we took it upon ourselves, in particular, Ramiro Devaro Comas, one of our directors, has really forefronted movement of trying to figure out how to offset all of our carbon emissions, aerosol emissions, and give back to the earth as, you know, global warming and these different environmental issues are popping up all over the world, and we don't want to be a part of the negative impact. We want to have a positive impact. So we've partnered with paint companies like Smog Armor, which is a pollutant-absorbing paint. I can't go into the science behind it, but it basically attracts through, I'm guessing, some kind of electrons and protons. I have no idea.
Just say
I'm
magic.
out
Scientific magic.
Scientific magic, exactly. And it absorbs the pollutants right out of the air. And this trip, we're also taking note on all of our trash, all our receipts, and seeing how we could reduce our plastic use, and just trying to really give back to the earth while we're here, and not just put pollutants in the air, because it's what we've been doing for years.
Yeah, also doing some tree planting and other things for sustainability efforts. It's a good thing that Dripped on the Road is doing here. So tell me about coming to Indiana. Have you ever visited a town of this size and worked in this environment?
Yeah, I've painted in a lot of towns smaller than this, in fact.
Oh, yeah?
This is a nice size for us. This is perfect. But yeah, we painted all over, like the Northeast and South, and some are big towns, some are small. So this is a perfect size, especially with a college nearby. So, you know, you guys have, I'd say it's busier than a lot of the places we've actually been.
Yeah, it's not quite Brooklyn busy, though, is it?
No, and I don't mind that. I've been stuck in Brooklyn throughout the whole pandemic, and even though I'm a city boy, I do like to get out a bit and, you know, hit the woods, come visit smaller towns, and kind of get inspired by people all over the country. And like I grew up in New York. I didn't get to travel a lot. My family is European, so I'd rarely go there either. So I just stuck in New York all the time. So to get out and really see the rest of America it's amazing. And especially now with everything going on, no matter your political beliefs, getting out and meeting my neighbors being, you know, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, the whole South, like we're right there, just 7-hour drive, and you're in a completely different community. It's so good to meet people, talk to people, and really, you know, put a face to the rest of America, because we're so isolated in New York City, stuck in our own busy world. that we kind of forget that these other beautiful places exist.
Especially now. I remember I was talking to an author earlier this year of a big best-selling book, and he said he'd been stuck in his apartment, and he was right at ground zero of the pandemic, and he'd been stuck there for 3 months, and he was just going nuts. So to get out and get some fresh air and enjoy this environment must be pretty special for all the folks involved in Drift on the Road, and it's special for us to have you here too. Jonathan, I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the air, and please, if you see us around town, I feel like you'll probably see some guys with paint all over them, looking kind of dirty, tired. Say hi to us. We're happy to talk to you. We're all pretty friendly, and that's what we're here for. We're here for your community. So thanks for having us.
That's a good deal. Have a great day today.
You too.
There is Jonathan Neville with us this morning from the Drift on the Road project happening with the Spruce Artists Series right here in Indiana.